Hi, welcome to Ghost Pepper Lollipop, where the takes are spicy, the host is sweet, and we engage that two things can be true at the same time. Today, we're going to do a little something different. I am going to try the reaction thing and maybe response. Maybe I'm going to do more responding to some videos I found discussing our misogyny topic. So let's have some fun and do give the creators all the love.
Based on my understanding of misogynistic men, there are about 4 different types of misogynists. Hear me out and let me know what you think. Type 1, he's not abusive toward women, but he's very disrespectful and very critical toward other women. Rarely loses his temper, but he'll use logic and words to demean the woman. A woman's feelings and thoughts, he won't really value them or take them into consideration. He kind of just brushes over them. That's type 1. Type 2 misogynist will now belittle women, name call women, and compare her body to other women's bodies and make her feel insecure. That's type 2. Now the type 3 misogynist exhibits behaviors of the type 1 and the type 2 misogynist, plus exhibits threats of physical and or emotional abuse. The type 3 misogynist is controlling of a woman's actions, her social life, dictates who she can and cannot talk to, and her finances and everything in matters of daily living. While they're all bad, the type 4 misogynist is arguably the worst kind because he exhibits the type 1, the type 2, and the type 3 behaviors plus the type 4 behaviors of that specific misogynist. Not only is a type 4 misogynist physically and emotionally abusive, but also sexually abusive and poses a threat to not only women, but to children as well. The type 4 misogynist has abusive behavior ingrained within him, and he is a critical threat and a danger to other people around him. What do you think?
I think you're close. I think you're really close. Non compos mentos. I think you're really close. Non compos mentis. I think though that is more like the rate pyramid. I believe that the for one, two, and three are the parts of the pyramid below the top where the actual physical abuse comes in. So I believe that it's just the misogynistic abuse pyramid. And if you go look up the rape pyramid, we discussed it a couple of weeks ago. I think you'll notice a lot of similarities in what I'm saying. Also, good to notice that there are levels of it, and I think that what the reason that why we have to be honest about it is levels 1, 2, and 3 are just the men that haven't desensitized themselves enough to be okay with being level 4. They're all level 4. Levels 1, 2, and 3 just haven't given themselves permission to be level 4 yet. That's why all of it's dangerous. That's why all of it's scary. We can't tell when a level 1 is going to excuse enough of that behavior to become a level 2 and so up the pyramid. Thank you for working on unpacking it though. And like,
I need Hassan's downfall to be swift and thorough. So I've talked extensively about how leftist men contribute to a misogynistic social climate. I've also talked about how they actively work to keep women out of politics. I think Hassan Piker is a great example of this. He contributed a great deal to the mocking of Amber Heard's testimony, and now he's doing the same thing to Blake Lively. This is a man who thinks sexual violence is a revolutionary act. He has said that it's better for rich men to be taken out of university, regular university, so that they don't harm poor students, so that they can harm rich women. And we know that this rhetoric is dangerous. Men will always advocate for a specific group of women to absorb male violence under the guise of protecting other women, but what they really mean is they want a green light, a go-ahead to have women to harm, where they don't have to take accountability. And sexual violence is one of the most effective methods of destroying female people. This rhetoric is also used to put targets on the backs of other groups of women who they find undesirable or disobedient. And these leftist men are taking advantage because they know sexual violence isn't taken seriously in society. Anywhere. We're in the middle of a revenge porn, AI porn pandemic. Men are joining in group chats in the hundreds of thousands to share tips on how to sexually abuse and assault women. Even little girls aren't safe. And they know that they can rely on the cool girl socialists to defend them. He has regularly distributed misogynistic rhetoric to his large audiences of leftist men who turn around to applaud him. And any women who criticize him, his audience jumps on them and barks anti-revolutionary, or counter-revolutionary down their throats. And this is exactly why I'm always telling women never to trust a male leftist. They will bond with right-wing men over their desire to commit acts of violence against female people. They leverage and weaponize their platforms against female activists. And they've successfully co-opted feminist language to be able to do this. This is why I'm always telling women to gravitate to female platforms. The only reason why a lot of these male leftists even have platforms is so that they can take voices away from female people. They want to make you invisible and demand your support. Defy them.
I didn't tell y'all I was gonna just look at the opinions of men. I wanna see the opinions of other people as well. So I disagree with the only thing I disagree with is the use of the word female, honestly, just because it alienates a category of women. And I feel like alienating a category of women at all does us all harm. And I'm a disabled woman and I have invisible disabilities, and those have been used against me medically, socially, and etc. And I don't want to do that to another woman. So I think my only real issue that I would have is the use of female so much. Otherwise, I agree. Um, no other notes. No other notes. I agree. And it's because like being in leftist communities sometimes can be hard because the left is not liberal, for those of you who might be confused. And a lot of leftist men feel like they're enough of allies and that they're woke enough to not have any issues. And so they have a particularly sticky set of blinders and a very biting defensiveness when they are called on something or when something's brought to their attention. I would love to see more of these, particularly the men that claim to be like feminists and woke allies. I would love, love, love to see them do more, asking themselves, why did she say that? Why did that offend her? And less, excuse me, which is something that I got from a leftist man a few weeks ago when I mentioned a type of misogyny that I was trying to help clear up a misunderstanding. I mentioned a type of misogyny and he did not like that. He did not take that well, and the excuse me was very exaggerated. So excuse me, don't claim to be a feminist and woke and then get mad that you're called out on a misogyny. We're all raised in a white supremacist, misogynist society, and as a leftist, you know that. You go around telling people that. So, when a woman says you did a misogyny, go check yourself. Check yourself. Be willing to check your biases. Isn't that why you're a leftist? And I don't watch Hassan, so I don't like the woke scolding, quite honestly. Yeah, that's my take. Um, Thank you. A good video. Thank you for the video.
More women in the US don't embrace feminism because the reality is honestly fucking painful. It is a lot easier to internalize your misogyny and act out towards other women. Men don't see us as human beings because most don't fully understand themselves as human beings and aren't willing to do the work required to do so. Also easier for them to internalize misogyny and act out towards women in ways that they never would towards men. It's set up to deliberately degrade us, and then it gives men the power to act disgusted when we are, in fact, in their minds in any way degraded.
That one's just painfully accurate. I think it's painfully accurate for all of us, and not just women that have the internalized misogyny to lash out. I mean, all of us have been there. and done that, unfortunately. Also, the men that don't ever find out that that is not actually the natural state of being. They never can see outside of the little box of discomfort and suppression. They can't see beyond it because they've never had it modeled for them. And I think maybe that can be said about some of those women that have so much internalized misogyny. I think that I needed to see anti-misogyny modeled in a way before I fully could take it in. Um, and I don't think that I was willing to be honest with myself before I started doing the work of unpacking my biases of how much internal misogyny I had. And that is hard work. Um, and it's good work. I think that I'm a better member of society and definitely better to myself now that I'm willing to be honest about those things and do that work. I think that men have that potential. I think that it's hard. It's simple. It's simple things that you do and simple habits that you do. It was surprisingly simple habits I had to do and simple things I had to do. It was still hard. There were still times when I didn't want to keep doing the work. And the work kept working. And so I kept doing the work. And I wish that for you too. I wish for men to see that just because abuse is Tuesday to us, whether it be self abuse or lashing out or whatever your flavor of abuse is, because we all kind of have one. Once we admit to ourselves that that's not a Tuesday that should exist, that should not be normalized, and once we're willing to give ourselves love and real self-care, that we can heal that on a whole. I do think that the love and real self-care are how we heal that within ourselves, and I think that we have to create like this introspection loop. I think I've mentioned that before. Going to the mirror, I use the analogy going to the mirror and brushing that beast's hair, and be gentle with those knots because you don't want to yank and cause pain. Some of the stuff is painful, like brushing those knots out is naturally painful. It's matted, it's tight, you're pulling at the skin on the scalp, so it's going to be painful no matter what, but you do everything you can to be kind to yourself. That's why I say, the be kind when you're brushing out the mats. You have to soften the pain and do what you can to ease it while you're processing these things. And the more you build this introspection loop and build this habit of being kind to yourself while you do it, the easier it'll become to unpack the stuff, and it really, really feels like a superpower. And I hope you go out there and work to find your superpower. You're worth it.
What we mean when we say that men are homosocial, and this is why there is such a big gap at the moment between men and women.
I'm Riley, I'm 24, I'm from Houston, Texas, and honestly, I'm down for any good adventure. I just got scuba dive certified, and I'm planning to go to Australia this summer, so I'm super excited about that. And then I just picked up skiing like 2 years ago, and I honestly love any themed party. Like, those are like my favorite things to go to, my favorite things to plan, and I'm looking for someone that wants to be my adventure buddy, and it's someone that I can trust in and is going to be there for me.
Aww. If any gentleman would like to get to know Riley more, please step forward.
They're nervous. They're scared. Anyone, come on.
Hey Riley, we're gonna have you sit down, but thank you for introducing yourself.
The men made it clear they could not care less about Riley. They were not actively listening to her, and if they were judging her. They were all just looking at each other, trying to figure out what the best response would be, how they should react. And what did they choose? They chose to sit there and laugh. They chose to act like mean little bullies. The concept of homosexuality describes and defines social bonds between persons of the same sex. It is, for example, frequently used in studies on men and masculinities. In an attempt to emphasize heterosexuality, fear or hatred of homosexuals and misogynist language are developed. The concept is often used to analyze how men, through their relationships and social bonds with other men, construct power blocks and protect male territory and privilege. I have no doubt that if all of these men were separate and listening to Riley, at least one of them would have shown interest in her, would have been behaving completely differently, appropriately perhaps, but in front of each other. They decided to make her feel small, unheard, and belittled. And that is the difference between men and women. The women were actively listening to her. There was zero judgment. They made sure she felt okay and supported when she sat back down. You can tell that all of these girls just thought Riley was cool. Any one of these girls would have been happy to have Riley as a friend. Perhaps some of the men thought she was cool too, but they decided to put theirs and each other's egos first.
Y'all get all mad when I call you submissive and breedable. And y'all saw those boys in that room. Not one of them willing to talk and say anything. There was a couple of them that looked interested. Did you think they were going to speak up when one of those other boys might have thought that they were a nerd or something for liking that girl? Oh, can't have those other boys thinking something bad about them. Gotta get all submissive and breedable with those boys while they whine about loneliness. And Taylor's right. The male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted, and for reasons like that room. Because that room is normal. That's what y'all do. That is what y'all have normalized for yourselves. That is what y'all choose. Y'all choose to be lonely because if the man next to you or across the room for you or down the street from you disapproves of your choice, well, the world might end. And so you get real submissive and breedable with each other. And real homosocial. And I think that some of you would love to be homosexual and just are afraid to do it. And I think that you should just be you. I think you should just embrace and normalize being you. I think you should let go the idea of this is what it's supposed to be. Should be is just a shame word. Should is a way to shame you. What you should be, it's just a way to shame you. Because maybe you're not that thing. If all of us were the same, the world would be a really boring place. It'd be really nice if y'all would get that in your heads and finally admit that. Goodness gravy.
Together, it doesn't make any sense, and I'm the one telling you I don't like the way it looks. You should be dressing and looking the way I want you to look.
Oh dear. Where do we begin with this one? If you agree with anything that the man said in the original video of this, then you are a problem and a walking red flag. His stance and opinions are loaded with manipulation, abusive tactics, and controlling behavior. Being in a relationship with someone does not mean you have ownership of them. It does not mean you get to make decisions for what they do with their own body. It also makes no sense that you don't believe the reasons why she might be changing her hairstyle in the first place because you're making it all about yourself. It absolutely stinks of insecurity and shows that you have no trust at all for your partner. And not only that, but even when she apologized for something she didn't have to, he didn't accept the apology and told her that she has to change the hair immediately. This is not having a healthy relationship with yourself. This is not a healthy way of communicating things to your partner and is not a healthy relationship at all. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing that a man would ever feel like they need to assert their position on how someone dresses and looks for them and their relationship. And yet here we are, with more men thinking that controlling women is the way that relationships work best.
How dare you talk to her in that way and think that you own her? Thank you, Lex Therapy. You saved the whole day because I was about to go on a tear. No notes on what you said. Wonderfully done. Wonderfully done. That man should be lonelier. That man that did that and said that to that young lady, he should be lonelier. And she should be out having fun with people that actually care and look at her like she's a person, because he doesn't and he never will. And he needs to be a lot lonelier than he is, like a lot lonelier. So much more lonely. He needs to be so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all made it again to the end of the video. It's so awesome. So if you liked, or even if you didn't like what you saw, if you don't mind helping me engage in this really fun habit I have, like it's really fun. It has like smells and tastes. It's called eating. I don't know if y'all have this habit. It's quite delightful. Sometimes there are these smells that like make you salivate and like your belly does these grumble things. It's it's really interesting from start to stop. But then I engage with the eating thing, and then the grumblies go away, and there's this satisfying to life. And so I really like the eating thing. So, you know, my Ko-fi, if you don't mind, donating to my eating habits, or you could get like a t-shirt or a mug or something by looking at the merch, and then, you know, you get something out of it too. I get to eat, you get something fun. I really appreciate y'all for being here, and I'm gonna celebrate you for making it to the end of the video in the silliest way imaginable. We did it! We did it! We made it! We made it to the end of the video! We did it! We are amazing! Okay, now go forth into the world. Be intentional in your humanity. And remember, you do this thing now. You say 2 good things every time you say or think 1 bad thing about yourself. Therefore, go forth, intentional in your humanity, saying 2 good things about yourself every time you'll say 1 bad or think 1 bad. All right, y'all, you're amazing. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week.